morning, everyone. It is this year, or last year actually, that I started Perpapedic, is that right? Hiking group. So I wanted to get outside with my friends and start a group get together with everyone weekly to enjoy nature. Today, I want to share about one of those adventures, which definitely left an impression. It taught me some valuable lessons for sure. One gorgeous morning last summer, this group and I went out to hike somewhere around 10 plus miles of the Wyandotte County Lake Park trails. It is so beautiful out there. The adventurers you see here, they could go any number of miles, and we did. Not everybody wanted to go 10 miles, but that was okay. We were just out there to enjoy the day. There are a number, let me get my little, how do I get my thingy? There we go. There are a number of entrances and exits. There, you can see all the white lines here are the trails that you can go onto. So this enables hikers and bikers to enter and exit and go as many or as few miles as they want. And Jesse and I have actually gotten lost here, walking through one rainy, stormy morning. So it was quite an adventure then as well. I've never had a boring time at the Wyandotte County Lake Park. For those who wanted to hike all the way around the lake, this was the intended path. Part of the trail we hiked was called the Bridle Trail, and it's muddy. It's a horse trail. We were actually really excited. Not all of it's muddy, but we were excited to see some horses and the riders that came out that day. Here are a few pictures from our trail. The Wyandotte County Lake Park is gorgeous. It's full of twists and turns, beautiful sights, flying and frolicking wildlife, challenging terrain for sure. There's beautiful views in every direction. It's a gorgeous place. And through the light of the sunrise, you can see there on the bottom left, the beautifully ornately created spider webs. It's just beautiful in the morning. There are little trails to go through the lake, seeing the glimpses of the lake and fish jumping. It's just beautiful there. Totally worth the morning sunrise to view. It was quite challenging, as you can see there in the top second picture on the left. We had some treacherous terrain, but it was a blast. I was extremely proud of our group as we clocked the miles. Some of us turned around, or some people turned around at mile 1 or 2, and there was a family of 6 or so that actually went after about mile 5. So the 3 of us you see here, we actually decided to continue and go the full 10 miles through the trails. I'm usually leading the group. Often I'll let somebody else lead, but I'm running up the hills typically, not running, but I keep us going, and I love to be encouraging to the group and keep us moving quickly. Today was no different, so I was right in front. We made our way through all of those 10 miles, and we were kind of trudging there at the end, but we saw some beautiful sights. It's truly a gorgeous place. We were lucky to finish with smiles, even though we were exhausted. Our feet were so sore, our legs were sore, and we actually ended up sitting for a while once we got to our cars before we were able to head out. Once we were home, well, we were there for 5 hours. So once we were home, we showered, and I just hung out for the rest of the day with my kiddos. The next morning, I woke up extremely itchy, uncomfortable, and a little worried. It appeared I had brought something or someone home with me. A souvenir, you could say. Say hello to my little friends. My torso was covered in little red, itchy bumps. It wasn't good. I've spent a lot of time outside, and I realized that creatures of all shapes and sizes come with the territory. I love nature, and in Kansas, and I grew up in Missouri, You know, in the middle of the summer, one might expect to come across ticks while traipsing through the woods. And I was in luck, leading the pack, collecting these little friends along the way. Ticks come in many sizes. The ones you see here are pictured on the face of a dime, all relatively easy to see if you're paying attention. I apparently was not. These ticks, you can see, these were the size of the ones of my not so welcome souvenirs in my torso. I had no idea they were even there until I woke up the next morning. Following my hike, I was terribly itchy, and they'd been there for about 18 hours without me knowing. I was somewhere around 6 to 7 miles when I collected these fellas, and they'd spent, you know, the next 3 miles burrowing into my torso and making a new home. That morning, upon further investigation, what made me realize they were there were the tiny little black dots on the head of each of those little red itchy bumps. I removed 25 ticks in total, or a little more. I was itchy and miserable and scared. I was immediately worried because I had once been treated for Lyme's disease 8 years prior. The fatigue I had in my adrenals at that time was horrific. It was a very, very scary time. And being a fitness trainer and a personal trainer, yoga teacher, I was really surprised, and I didn't understand why I couldn't run without pain or major fatigue. I couldn't exercise without feeling breathless or in pain. I couldn't make it through my day without a nap. I was sleeping a lot. I was completely worn out every day by the afternoon, mentally and physically. Lyme's disease is and can be debilitating. The effects of Lyme's disease are physical and mental. They're emotionally draining. 8 years ago, I was treated for Lyme's, and with this disgusting tasting detox and all this medicine to remove the poisons and metals and pesticides from my body. But I made a full recovery. I really didn't want to have to go through it again. But in the week following my hike, the signs became more apparent. I was overly tired. I was feeling very headachy. I was really scared. My neck was aching and it was as hard as a brick. The toxins were taking a toll on my body. I had a cough and my body was just trying to process it. So I had a cough and muscle aches everywhere. I had a horrible migraine and I was completely fatigued. I was panicky, stressed, and afraid, kind of like a PTSD symptom because I'd been through it before. I called my doctor and sure enough tested positive for that bacteria, and once again began my Lyme disease detox. It was a little different this time. This was my Lyme disease detox regimen, and I was thankful to have it. My doctor is awesome, and you know, I knew that I'd beat it before and I could do it again. This detox cleanse, everything, began to cleanse my organs and blood of all the toxins in my system that I'd been exposed to. I would have done anything to fix this as soon as possible, and I did. Thankfully, I was able to reverse the effects of all this poison in my system within a few months. The headache stopped and my hair stopped falling out. I could think more clearly and I was less tired. I'm lucky and thankful to be back to my active self again after contracting Lyme disease for the second time. Again, I'm so lucky to have an awesome doctor and the right medicine for me. It was quite the adventure. I was a little gun shy about subsequent hikes and really thankful to have great friends who suggested less treacherous terrain that we can enjoy nature and wildlife regularly. I'm happy to say that I still hike regularly every weekend unless it's 6 degrees. The most important things I learned were to be aware of my surroundings, to treat my clothing with appropriate insect repellent. And though I showered immediately upon arriving home, I should have checked more carefully, more thoroughly before I left the park. Still, I love nature. I will continue to hike. I'm constantly in search of gorgeous places, and they are abundant here in Kansas City. Thank you.